Bliss. Bliss. Bliss.
Bliss.
Now, I know it's a little late for a Halloween video, but in my defense, I've been rewatching the FNAF movie, and I kid you not, 21 times. But recently, I've been doing some YouTube deep dives, and I stumbled across one of my childhood favorite creators, Jack Stauber.
Tears falling down at the party. Saddest little baby in the room.
Jack is known for his silly, yet charming videos and songs that are often associated with the hyperpop genre. But surprisingly, not many people talk about the hidden, or not so hidden, meanings of his works. From things like child neglect.
You're not Claire. What are you doing in my house? Get out!
To topics as deep as suicide prevention. We will be taking a glimpse into the world of Jack Stauber.
I love what I can see. What's expected of you? What's expected of...
Like most entries on the list, the work in question initially seems charming or goofily innocent, but when looking deeper into the lyrics, it becomes more apparent that there's an actual meaning to this madness. It's been mostly theorized by fans that this song is practically an anthem for those who feel like they're dead weight in society, with lines like,
Oh, what the hell can I do to fill the pages? The strangers kiss the girl, take it in.
Jack describes feeling like he can never live a normal textbook life, consisting of things like kissing girls, making friends, or finding something fulfilling to live for. His inability to do any of these things make him feel hopeless. He genuinely feels as if he's... Later, Jack seems to be more content with his life, listing the things that he has he can be thankful for.
Got everything I need. Clothes on my back, the wind on my teeth.
However, in the same verse, Jack relapses into his previous mindset, repeating the same lines as earlier. Honestly, this is a pretty relatable song to most people, especially in today's society. It's kinda cool though how much more you can enjoy these songs when you truly understand them.
It's still raining. Why is it still raining? I did what I was supposed to.
A lot of Jack's videos are more relatable than most would like to admit. What I find so impressive is how Jack is able to make a video seem so meaningful, yet it's only 38 seconds long. I mean, just take a look.
See, the rain is nice, but gee, I don't really like getting wet. What in the world? No, I went under the awning. It's still raining. Why is it still raining? I did what I was supposed to. That's not fair.
Now, I doubt that I have to go too deep into an explanation of this video, but that is what I'm here for. Our character describes how, while he can enjoy the rain, he doesn't actually enjoy getting wet by it, so he does what he's supposed to and finds shelter. Yet, he's still getting wet. This can be a metaphor for how even if you're a good person, or even if you're doing what you're supposed to do, you can still feel trapped in your life, as you cannot escape the heartbreak, the loss, the loneliness, the grief, the tragedies that come with life. Because, unfortunately, to live is to suffer. I did not make that up, by the way. That is literally the agreed upon definition of the video.
Baby hotline, please hold me close to you. Baby flatline, still time to do it too.
With this being one of his most popular songs, I doubt most of you haven't heard it before. But what I'm sure you didn't know is that it's actually one of his darkest. The song's lyrics tell the story of a narrator calling the baby hotline and asking for things in emotional support, such as being held closely. While this can be interpreted in many ways, the apparent truth has long since surfaced on Reddit forums. You see, Jack's late girlfriend had tragically been dealing with mental issues and was having a breakdown, so she called this hotline to help her calm down. Unfortunately, they had hung up on her. That being her final straw, she took her own life, and by the time the hotline worker called back, it was too late. It goes without saying that the baby hotline is meant to represent the hotline, and requests like
Please hold me close to you.
are meant to represent Jack's girlfriend asking for help in times of emotional distress. As for more vague lines, such as this line was included because Jack's ex happened to collect pennies. But the fact that the song ends on the lyric,
Someday I will go back outside and see her okay.
is meant to represent Jack hoping to see her on the other side or in the afterlife, where they can once again be reunited.
Dinner is not over. Dinner is not over.
While this song isn't as popular as many of Jack's other songs, it still holds similar meaning. I just want you to listen to this and tell me what you think the song is about.
I've tasted friendship. I've tasted you. I've tasted dying and it tasted good. I've tasted heartbreak. I've tasted food. I've tasted dying and it tasted good. But that's dessert. You can have it, but the dinner is gone.
So as most could have guessed, he refers to the many inevitable problems of life as if they were food, saying that he's tasted them. However, he never comments about how they taste. That is until he says,
I've tasted dying and it tasted good. I've tasted heartbreak.
out of all things, death tasted the best. The song essentially describes life from the perspective of a suicidal person. However, he must remind himself that dying is dessert, or that he can have it when dinner is done. Essentially saying that when he's done with life, naturally, only then is he allowed to die. So yeah, it's essentially a really creative suicide prevention type song. It's honestly impressive how he can make it sound so happy yet so distressed at the same time.
Your mama's crying. Your mama's crying for you.
Just take my wallet is typically a phrase said to someone when they're being robbed in a story. As in, don't take my life, I'll give you my money. And this song actually relates more to that than you think, with lyrics like,
Your mama's crying for you. Mama's lying. Oh, what's she trying to do to you?
it's clear that this song is being sang from the perspective of a grief-stricken friend, first describing how the loss of a loved one is affecting their mother, and how she would of course have to lie and pretend that she's okay to the rest of the world. Because the cruel truth is, the world doesn't stop, regardless of your losses. The second verse, however,
Times of singing, they sang. Those times are echoing through me.
I don't really need to explain, but it's portraying how the memories that the two once shared are now possessed only by one of them, in a way that must be carried on. I mean, this is evident for the fact that the memories were singing, but now they sang, as in past tense, and they can only be echoed through the one left behind.
What's the softest way to say you took away my friend, my buddy? What's the kindest way to say you took away my friend? What's the kindest way to say you took away my friend, my buddy? What's the kindest way to say the end?
Honestly, this last verse hits me right in my feelings, as it mainly talks about the cruelty of life taking away those you care about again and again, circling back to, don't take my life. Now, before we talk about this last video, I'd like to clarify that there are many more Jack Stauber songs I could deep dive into, but I'd rather save the rest for a later video. So if you enjoyed this one, feel free to like and or subscribe.
We see you, Opal, your troubles are miles away. We see you, Opal, and in our eyes you'll stay.
This is honestly one of my favorite works by Jack, as I've honest to God rewatched it at least 10 times. Opal tells the story of a little girl with a loving family. They cheer her on as she dances and sings for her. However, this ends abruptly as Opal looks over to the house across the street as it looks eerie and dreadful.
What do we always say?
Her father stops and sends Opal to bed.
Good night, Opal.
However, Opal eventually sneaks out as she finds herself entranced by the house across the street. As the streetlights come on, Opal is scared into the house, where she is greeted by an old man. While the old man recognizes Opal, he addresses her as Claire.
Claire? Is that you? Come here, I need you to bring me my cigarettes. Hey! Don't think about hiding them again either. I know it's you who's doing that. You know, it's evil to help people who don't need help, Claire.
The old man is visibly ill and or dying, coughing up blood. Yet he still makes Opal bring him cigarettes, which is only furthering his death. He instructs her to never hide them again and that he doesn't need any help, implying that she has tried to stop him from smoking before. The old man has a bit of a fit before he starts singing about how easy it seems for people on TV to breathe, while he struggles with such a basic task.
Why does it sound so easy to breathe? On TV, I can't see why it sounds so easy to breathe.
The grandfather has gotten to the point where he can no longer recognize Opal or Claire as he starts screaming at her, telling her to get out.
You smell weird. Why aren't you saying anything? You're not Claire. What are you doing in my house? Get out! Get out of this house! Get out!
Frantically, Claire runs upstairs, where she is stopped by someone who seems to be the father figure of the household. Surrounded by mirrors and constantly adjusting his appearance, he goes on a bit of a rant about himself and how he looks. He even goes as far as to put Claire down about her ankles. He even goes as far as to put Claire down about how she looks while forcing her to stay and look at him. He begins singing about how he was turned down for society by his appearance, so he began obsessing over it and putting others down like his own daughter to make him feel better.
They turn me down, now I live my nightmare. Gotta be seen by someone out there. And now I sit here in reflection chamber, fixing myself so that all can savor. Follow me.
However, in the middle of his rant, the grandfather makes his way upstairs, causing for Claire to run further into the house.
Where are you going? Whoa, you know how this makes me feel.
Claire runs further upstairs and right into her drunken mother.
Who's that?
Her mother talks to her in a drunken slur, using Claire as a crutch, saying things like,
I feel terrible. You and I don't live, Claire. We survive.
She begins to sing about how every mom seemingly needs a daughter to fall back on when the time gets rough.
Mama needs a little girl to land on. Mama needs a little girl to fall in her arms. Mama needs a mama's girl to take good care.
and in the end, she tries to make Claire feel powerless.
You're just like me. You're just as powerless as I am, Claire. See?
Claire then runs upstairs into the attic and looks across the street, where normally we expect to see the house Claire came from, but instead it's a billboard for a brand called Opal's Burgers, with a little girl and the family we saw earlier. The family in Claire's house bang on the door relentlessly.
Open this door.
What we can gather is that this is a story of abuse and neglect. You see, there was no Opal. It was just a mental escape used by Claire, as she had never been seen by her own family, hence why the family earlier sung about how they could see her.
We see you, Opal, your troubles are miles away. We see you,